Well, so we have to do the newspapers now. And Mama V seated. Mama V, how are you?
Oh, hello, Roland. Welcome. Good.
Great.
Thank God it's Friday. Oh gosh.
Well, I'm not sure that we should be excited about Friday because you know what? By the time you see that it is Friday, it is a Monday. Because Saturday is almost like a day that just blows away.
I know what you mean.
Quick, I mean, in my perspective.
But I'll have a long sleep. I don't have to wake up.
Well, true. Yeah. Sleep is good. Helps you to rest. I want to say good morning to Nana Yaujemfi Kese. He is the acting general manager for Road Safety Management Services Limited, as well as a good brother of mine, Salifu Combat. You're the head of Primary Healthcare Pharmacy, the Boku Presbyterian Hospital. I have to say good morning to you as well and the rest of your family. And,
let's say good morning. Are you done with your good morning?
No, I wanted one more, but you finish.
Good morning, Gifty.
Yeah, Gifty. Gifty is so wonderful. The internet. Gifty, talk. Unmute.
I've unmuted.
Okay.
Can you?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah. So I've unmuted. Good morning. Can you hear me? Is it smooth? I hope it is.
Well, listen, if it is not smooth, next Monday you have to move to my neighborhood.
But as you can see, I'm not in my usual neighborhood. So.
But it's good to see you. Hopefully we have a flow with the review, particularly on your side with the network today. But we've got a couple of the papers. Tell us the papers that you're doing, Gifty, and just jump straight into it.
Okay. So I have the Dispatch, the Daily Dispatch. Let me start with the Daily Dispatch. The banner headline for Daily Dispatch: focus on former Volta and Northern regions. We'll see the full story on page, I think, 4. Yes. And then it gives you a breakdown of the former Volta region and the former Northern region. Then EC extends registration at district offices to Sunday. As you know, Mamavi, the process was supposed to end on the 6th, which was yesterday. Mm-hmm. But it's been for those who are doing it at the district offices, it's been extended to Sunday. That's the Dispatch reporting. And evacuation of 727 stranded Ghanaians. Kennedy Japan contributes $200,000. The story is on page 2, and it comes with Mamavi, your friend, member of Parliament for Asin, Kennedy Japan.
Central.
Sorry, Kennedy. Kennedy Japan there. So let's look at what it has on the inside of those papers. Okay, quickly. Just let me take a look here. Right. So on the back page of the Dispatch newspaper, you have 2020 voters register and ethnicity. Part 3, it looks like the focus on the former Volta and Northern regions. I'm not really sure what this is. Okay, so it's a political desk analysis by the Dispatch. So that's what it has there. Ivor Green Street, 2 others pick up forms for CPP flag bearer race. CPP PA, I mean, for 3 months anyway. So I think it means I will be hearing more of them as we go along. I also have the Finder newspaper banner headline: President optimistic. Petroleum industry will bounce back soon. That story is on page 11 of the Finder newspaper. But other stories on that front page is government's COVID-19 interventions commendable, according to the IFS story on page 5. And Kennedy Japan donates $428,650 to evacuate. Okay, the figures seem different on the pages anyway. On the other, it was different on Dispatch, and it looks different on the Finder. I'm not sure if. Yeah, so to evacuate 727 stranded Ghanaians in Lebanon, you know about the blast there. So that story is on page 4. And free SHS is more valuable than gold. Afenyoma Akin is saying that. Noguchi gets full body disinfection chamber machine, certainly to help with the work that they do. And in the center spread of the Finder, First Lady supports Tema Homo War Festival. We know that the First Lady is a Ghana, so she's supporting the Homo War Festival. Nice one. President commissions University of Environment and Sustainable Development. University of Environment and Sustainable Development. Is that a new university? Mamavi, you can read the first paragraph for me maybe later, because I can see. Yeah. And then local free SHS more valuable than gold. That story is on the center spread as well. MTN delivers strong first half results amid COVID-19. Of course, the biggest beneficiaries of the COVID-19 is the people in the telecommunication industry. Reintegrating out of school children into Ghana's formal education system. There's also a story on that there. So the Finder newspaper, the front page, and okay. So I think I skipped something. Did I? Okay.
I don't think you did, but I wanted to consolidate the figures for you because you were talking about the donation that Kennedy Japan made and the fact that the figure is different in the dispatch and the Finder. So here's the clarification. He personally donated $200,000 and also made an appeal and got people to support with the rest of the figures. That's why you see the bulk figure of the $428,650 in the Finder. It's also embedded in that story. It clarifies the fact that he personally contributed $200,000. There's
the back page of the Finder has a story about COVID-19 packages more. Is that the back page? No. I think that was yesterday's paper. So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, great. There's something else, and I think when we go on myjournline.com, we will hear about the other bit about Kennedy Japan that's in the news that I don't see the newspapers covering, but this has to do with Sami Jemfi, the communications officer of the NDC, and his complaint to the police CID headquarters about comments that Mr. Japan had made. But let's run you through the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page, Kennedy Japan is also here with the evacuation of Ghanaians from Lebanon with the money that he's mobilized, $428,000. Don't make Parliament preserve of elites and wealthy. Well, it will be interesting to share a bit of that. So we'll go to page 13 in the course of the review. Magdan CEO welcomes government guarantee scheme, but the banner headline, this is something that's been unfolding. Outcry over WASI misconduct. GS denounces students' offensive acts corporate to be debordinized. And yesterday, the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Kwesi Opoku-Amankwah, issued a statement, a very extensive one. And we will be talking about this subject. Indeed, we've been discussing in Discipline what's been going on with some of the schools. But it says extremely reprehensible and appalling. This is the verdict widely passed on the violent activities by some school candidates in the ongoing West African Senior School Certificate Examination. Leading the condemnations are the Ghana Education Service and the National Commission for Civic Education, with the GS hinting of some tough actions against the perpetrators of the acts. With NAGRAT, if you go on myjournline.com, there's NAGRAT's also making some calls there. Yesterday we had NATS in the studio. So pretty much all the associations or the stakeholders of education condemning what we've seen. And it looks like it's not ending, because when you talk about one, you realize that just as you're talking about one incident, another one is unfolding elsewhere. In the center spread, Dr. Doris Date laid to rest the remains of one of the country's finest media practitioners, Dr. Doris Ya Date, yesterday laid to rest at the Lashibi Funeral Homes near Tema. A former board chairperson of the Graphic Communications Group Limited, Dr. Date passed away at the Kolibu Teaching Hospital on July 19 this year after succumbing to breast cancer disease she battled for about 6 years. And the Graphic has been very consistent, telling us, giving us update of the final burial. I think prior to this, Sami has so absolutely rest in peace. Our condolences to the families. Graduates in advanced welding technology call on president. That story is also in the center spread, as you can see. And private schools appeal for stimulus package to pay staff. The Ghana Council of Private Schools has appealed to the government to offer a stimulus package of 400 million Ghana cedis to the council to enable it to pay salaries of their teachers and other staff. It said following the closure of schools in the past 5 months due to the outbreak of the coronavirus disease, its members had not been able to generate funds to pay their staff. Yesterday, we shared a story of how a school teacher is now taking about a quarter of what she used to make. So she's teaching a student. This is like a private kind of thing that she's picked up, and she's teaching a student. She's making a quarter of what she used to make. Actually, it's really, really not easy. Some of the schools have graduated online, but not many of the schools. So those teachers at least are making something, but there are others who are not making anything at all. On the back page, spillage of Bagri. Communities asked to evacuate. Western Region pilot cylinder recirculation model. To the Times front page, demo of our ongoing 2020 WASI GS other slam righteous students demand punishment for those who vandalized, destroyed school property. Rowdy senior high school final year student beats WAEC official, invigilators, and journalists. EC ends nationwide voter registration exercise, embarks on two-day mop-up Saturday. Explosion at Beirut port. Lebanese embassy opens book of condolence in Accra Monday. And the people of Beirut absolutely angry at their governments and leaders because they say these high explosive, these materials was known to them. They had actually been warned that something like what we saw on on Tuesday could happen, and they didn't take any action. Absolutely angry at their leaders. On the back page, work on redevelopment of Takrady Market Circle to begin soon, and 22,000 tree seedlings planted in 6 districts in the Upper West region and Savannah region. I guess I'm right. Okay, Roland?
Yeah, let me look at the Daily Guide. It has on the front page. Seku fights Professor Okwe over Founders Day is a big debate. Always has been, will be, I believe.
I've been tired of it. I didn't talk about it on the holiday. I just let it go. I only wanted to play
the episode. Yeah, he brought that to us. Anna's judge gets pension benefits, and a story also very moving as well. I read it and I thought that was...
you know, that story was reported, but we all didn't pay attention to it. It was actually covered an entire page in the graphic. Was it this week or last week? I'm confused. I think it's Monday or Friday.
Okay.
And
I think I saw it last week.
I saw it later. Okay. And I said, when it's the bad news, we all talk about it, but when something positive comes out of it.
Well, we should also, at least I know one of those antagonists in that investigative piece, and its outcome has since passed, I remember. Martin Amidu, who is currently the special prosecutor, was also a counsel to one of them. Mahama goofs gives Nana 8 years. We talked about this yesterday morning. It said that was a big mistake. That would be capitalized on. It's occupying the front page of the Daily Guide. Government redirects. They could have done
this yesterday, but they decided to wait and bring it today.
For it to simmer. So simmering effect. Government redirects public spending, according to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I met empty coffers. Kufuado tells chiefs. On the back page is all sports. Hearts new boy eager for action. When we resume, John Terry pops up on Aston Villa radar. And we all do know that, well, the Premiership is what we love. Well,
there's Champions League.
Yeah, they have new fixtures, but they have the last run-up of matches. Just going to be played in some few days, crash program as it is. And just within a period of 90 minutes, you're supposed to finish everything else. So some new rules there, all because of coronavirus as it is.
You're done?
Yes. I wanted to talk about McDan. That's my pick.
Oh, you want to talk about McDan. Getty, can you hear us? You're still with us?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Let's start with you. What's your pick?
Okay, I wanted to comment on the school, the Brighton, students. It's just amazing. I have no idea where this story is coming from. I mean, where this behavior is coming from. I feel like I didn't see it coming. Maybe others saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming. But I'm excited about the seriousness with which the Ghana Education Service is, dealing with it. We've seen a very quick move of action being taken, which is really good. But it looks to me like Mama V, you said, once you try to deal with it at a point, it starts again elsewhere. And I don't know what's really happening. And I think there has to be some sort of research into this thing and why it's happening. Yes, I think so. Why it's happening.
They have free education. They're not paying, really. I mean, it's free. They want free exam as well.
But I think it might be oversimplification of the issue if we just nail it on free education. I think free education has something to do with it. The young people, the students are now having this awkward sense of entitlement and saying that, feeling we have to pass. And I think it's something that's worked on their mind with the free SHS, without the politics that we have done with the free HSS as well. Great policy, but with the politics that has come with it. So now they're feeling like, yes, we have to pass. And I don't know who's pushing this into their head, but like I'm saying, we have to do some research. The GES has to do some research into it and how we can avoid this the next time, because this is absolutely bad. And if we should continue, we're dead. We shouldn't be encouraging this. I also find the ATS thing very interesting. Politics is a very interesting game. It gets even more interesting when you put it here in Ghana. I have no idea how Mr. Mahama made that mistake.
He didn't even say it was. He said it was.
And I think they're going to really use it. Like you're saying, it's not going to go away. I had Dr. Mustafa Hamid say, the first comment he made when Evans was interviewing him on Top Story was, well, first of all, we want to thank the former president very much for acknowledging that the president is going to have another 4 years. I was like, here we go again. He's not going to have an easy day with that at all. And I wish him the best with it. Yeah, there was a particular story that you mentioned, Mama V. I've forgotten. It was one of the papers. I don't know how I missed it. I don't have a pen here, so I haven't put it down. Otherwise, I would have remembered. Maybe as we go along, I'll remember if we have time.
Okay. Was it Lebanon? Maybe
no.
Not. Okay.
No, right. It's a rather small story.
Okay.
I'll remember.
Let's get Roland. Roland, you said you wanted to talk about the
the coronavirus alleviation program business support scheme, and this also is part of the whole initiative of government to make sure that businesses had access to finance. And before I do that, though, I also wanted to comment on this because at the beginning of the show, I did indicate that this is the third day running that here on the show, we're treating the subject of the indiscipline that we've seen among the senior high school students who are writing the WASI. I think after the first day, when we did that and we took the views from those stakeholders, we're talking Kofi Asare, and then also Peter Anti, the inclination we got from others was that, this is just out of the blue, sporadic. But it looks like now it's getting the attention of the students. And it is...
what, like students in other schools?
Yes, in other schools. Look, yesterday I listened to Professor Opoku-Amankwa, and I think that he just was very right about what he said. He said this is pure indiscipline on the part of the students. And I think that we have seen in this country in which the policies and the way the policies are implemented at the top are very good. But when it comes to doing the monitoring and the supervision down there, then we're having difficulty. So the question we have to ask ourselves, why have we seen this? Is it because the supervision, the administration of the students at the schools is now lax, is facing some difficulties? I think the actions that sometimes the officialdom take sends some either positive or negative signals to the students. Look, the students need to be disciplined, but we have to take a look at the mindset of the current generation and how they are very much receptive of what sort of discipline that they want to undertake. And I think that we need to do this by making sure that, one, we also get their views on many other related disciplinary action that needs to be taken on them. Two, we also need to make sure that when we say we're disciplining them, we communicate to the public so that when actions are taken, we don't go back and try to victimize the school administrators. And i.e., I'm referring to incidents in which as a teacher or the assistant headmaster of a school seemed to have locked students, and in his mind, he thought that was discipline. So we need also to do that sort of communication. Three, we need to involve parents in this, because if the parents of these students are involved, they know that my child who is in school is under a certain regime. And when an action or inaction is taken by the school administrator, it is because I have the consent of that teacher to be able to undertake that. And I think that will lay out the structure by which we want our students to be disciplined. I mean, that's
you're saying boils down to the research that I'm talking about, because I think if we don't research, talk to these students and talk to, the key stakeholders involved in all of this, we might end up acting on assumptions. And acting on assumptions may not be in our best interest. I think we need to do this research, and all the things you've laid out, we tackle them one after the other. And I've talked about the power relations. We know there were times when you are even afraid to tell your teacher to even ask questions in class. That is your typical Ghanaian classroom setup, which is what this particular government has said that they want to try and change. So is it the change that they've introduced that's, encouraging young people to ask more questions and be more bold and be bolder and to come out, more, that's creating this problem? Or is it the discipline thing that Roland, as you say, like the things that you've listed? I think it will be better off if we did a proper research. GES does a proper research to address all of the areas you've
set up a committee to look into all the issues that have come up and why they have come up. There's also the Bright issue, and I want to pick it from myjawline.com. So let's just take you to myjawline.com. You see the Bright Senior High School, where things have turned very different, well, similar, but it looks like with this case, even the school authorities are involved. And I guess that just from what we've heard, there are instances where the school authorities themselves instigate some of these things. They may have communicated something different or said something different to the children, so they are expecting something else, not what they see in the exam. Because in an exam, it doesn't matter where they ask you to sit. Because you're working independently, and it doesn't matter if the next person is like from here to Bolga. You shouldn't care about it. Just sit and write your paper, whatever you think you can remember and write, and then you move on. But we've seen all these things happen. Let's take you to myjawline.com. Let's run you through the story that we've been talking about, obviously, here. This is the call from Nagrat: arrest students who assault teachers during WASI, one of the many organizations that we've seen talking against what the disturbances that we've seen, which started off well with videos with students unhappy because of the integrated science paper and the fact that they thought the passport that had been given to them by the states was going to appear and they didn't see. And then before we know, no, things have just, with a graphic reporter being assaulted yesterday as well. And then the head teacher asking the students not to write the exam. I mean, this exam is under the control of WAEC. I don't see how a head of a school can say, don't write the exam, that kind of thing. All right, so plenty of stories, including this one.
I didn't get to talk about McDan.
Oh, you didn't get to talk. Yeah. You talk about McDan.
And he's endorsing this coronavirus alleviation program business support scheme. 2 billion has been set up. It will be given to banks. So logically, that's how it's done. Then you go to access, and I think small startups will need to benefit from this. But before they benefit, they need to have their books or their structures right, so that whatever it is that they collect, they're able to pay back. We have had a situation where, in my estimation, I think the first one that we disbursed, giving 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 or whatever to hairdressers, etc., how we were going to collect that back, I don't know how that was going to be possible or is going to be possible. So we have to target the businesses that we think would have good return on this money that we're going to give them. And I think that McDan supporting this is a very good thing, because he's a businessman who has great acumen and experience in this. And ultimately, we're going to have some good returns on this investment.
Okay.
If I can, I think I just quickly remembered what I wanted to comment on. It has to do with the sort of violence we saw with the last day of the registration. I didn't see a lot of that in the newspapers, but I wanted to just mention that briefly. I'm amazed at how this seemed to have gone on well, apart from Manda and some of the Volta region areas in the Volta region that we've recorded some incidents. I think the last day, I mean, I was really not monitoring the news, but I've seen so many, attacks or stories of attacks here and there. And I'm wondering, I just thought that we should mention it and, as part of our conversations, get people sensitized about just doing the right thing and being civil. We've just ended it. Just be civil,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. So this is all time will allow us. When we come back from sports, we'll give you an update on coronavirus. We'll tell you the Ghana situation and Africa and why Ghana is part of those countries in Africa that, it is said that they have to keep an eye on. Ghana and Nigeria. We'll give you an update on that situation. And then, of course, we'll come back and talk about what is unfolding in some of the schools with the ongoing examination. Right now, though, we have to make way for sports. There's Champions League later today, and Gareth Bale is in the headlines. Has he just refused to play, or he says he will not travel if they don't put him on the pitch? Something's happening with Real Madrid. That's all coming up in sports. Akwesi Dankwa Benedict is up next.